assets and when things started to fall apart, the stablecoin lost its peg. So if you look at a chart, we can look at, I'm gonna pull up a chart right now of a stablecoin, right? We can look at when certain stablecoins lose their peg. And for it to lose its peg means that it becomes untethered with the dollar. But it doesn't mean that the dollar, the fiat dollar, has lost value, right? It means that the assets under management are not aligning with the value that is being communicated, which is a dollar. Is the assets under management are no longer giving you that peg. So we can look at. You want to say
White Joe's pulling that up.
You want to say something? Yeah.
And White Joe's pulling it up. On May 14th, Chris and we went to Washington D.C. On Stand with Crypto Day, and we met with some of the local politicians here, Ralph Warnock, John Ossoff, Lucy Macbeth's office, to speak to them about the Genius Act. And the Genius Act was to get legislation and regulatory around the stablecoin. And just 2 days ago, they passed it on. To your point, they passed it on. So that's a big deal. Chris, I'll let you speak a little bit more to it, with your experience.
Hello, my name is Christopher Powell, CTO of Project Pi Labs. And, we went out to DC, like Ant said, just to talk to different regulators and representatives about the importance of this technology. I've done it 3 times on Coinbase's dime so far, and they don't know what's going on there. They really don't. I probably talked to at least 10 to 12 different senators from different states, Arkansas, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Virginia. They don't know what's going on. The first one of, I think it was last year, we went to the room and the senator was like, yeah, so let's start talking about KYC, know your customer and all this stuff. And I'm just like, that's how he wants to start? All right. And so, we start talking about it. And the first thing, after everyone just gave their spiel on why this technology is important for the future of this country, he was like, well, I still just don't get it. Why people just don't want to get the US dollar? I mean, it's the US dollar. It's, just trying to talk about it. Yeah. And so we all had to explain this technology is much more than just the fiat currency. I mean, there are people around the world that are actually able to tap into these technologies and I even said it to him. I said, if anything, this boosts the US dollar because now you have participants that want to use a stable currency and not just the US, but in around the world. And this only continues to push the value. But the Coinbase event, being able to go up there is very powerful in itself. Just for Ant and I, just being able to go there and actually tell these representatives what we want and what we demand. I mean, and they listen. They actually 2 days later or 2 days prior from today, they actually pushed it through. And Ant and I had to kind of look at each other dang, what we did that actually was super powerful, man.
Thanks, Chris.
But I want to add to that point that Chris was making around the piece on what's interesting about the government, right, is that now we have so many use cases for stablecoins. The asset that has been on the rise since the last cycle the most is stablecoins, right? And it's because, in my opinion, what's going to happen is all the real world assets, including treasuries, are going to be moved into the stablecoin market, right? So we need liquidity. We need these bills to be passed, hence the 2 days ago, right? That just happened. But now you have real world assets that can now come into the stablecoin market and allow for that to be traded, the debt to be traded. So now imagine being able to take. I was on a call last week. Imagine being able to take the treasury notes if you can afford to buy a certain amount, maybe 3 to 5 million amount, right? And work with a company to basically have that like justified and contracted, and then basically issue your own stable coin against that money that you have collateralized, right? So it's 3 to 5 million sounds like a lot, but the ability that ability is available, and now banks are recognizing that and utilizing those treasury notes that they have that they're sitting on, and they're going to turn those into stable coins that they can issue and then incentivize people, right, for quick cash back rewards if you use this bank's stable coin. So we have creatively as a country found a way to utilize stable coins to basically, this is my opinion, to finance the debt, right? And we'll see what happens, right? But it's also going to lead to liquidity to the crypto market in general, because now people are going to get stable coins and they're going to be curious about the other assets. So that's how I see this playing out.
And you'll get access to investments. You don't have to be an accredited investor, have to have $1 million in the bank, all that BS. Like, they basically keep you outside when they say you're an accredited investor. This is totally opposite of that. By you having stable coins now and access to those, there's going to be real world assets, real estate investment trusts, like buildings that they can fractionalize and tokenize, and you can utilize that investment through stable coins. So the market opens up, going back to what Mr. Johnson's saying, like, this is leveling out the playing field. That's why it's so important that we're educated on it and we become the onboard on it. So stable coins, do your homework on it and make sure you're involved. Yes.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. Or crowdfunding in a different way where you can be able to like raise funds for something that you want to happen at a city level. I did bring this up though because the question was asked. Oh, somebody had.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something really quick. In addition to that, even though I know you're going to elaborate on it more, but stable coins are pegged to the dollar, so the price doesn't go up. But there is capital appreciation with stable coins because you can stake. So there's ways that you can earn interest. As we know, with dollars, they're losing this value every day that it's in the bank. It represents a dollar, but there's a way to get capital appreciation through staking. So I just wanted to, add that.
Yeah, liquids, like there are, and I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Like we got a company here that does liquid staking, right? And they're liquid staking a fluctuating asset, but you can technically stake $1 and then issue a liquid asset or against that staked dollar, right? And there's been some DeFi platforms that have done this. Moonwell on Base, right? If you stake your USDC, they give you Moonwell USDC, and you can take your Moonwell USDC, you can swap it back to USDC, and you can pay your bills while your initial capital was already deposited into Moonwell, right? So stablecoin, liquid staking stablecoins are definitely a solution that not many DeFi platforms have rolled out, in my opinion, but they're there.
All right, y'all hear Joe? You'll see how damn smart he is. Like everything, he just gave you the full play, and I hope that most of you caught it. But if you didn't, it's just basically, I think it's important that when you think about staking, everybody in here doesn't know what staking is. Staking is basically putting your crypto into a decentralized finance platform and letting it grow interest. Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, because not everybody knows in here in the space what staking is. And then liquid staking, that's where you can borrow money against money. You can borrow crypto against crypto that you deposited, and that crypto stays there. You hear that? Like you have Bitcoin.
The banks do it all the time. So
you have Bitcoin deposited, and it stays there, and you can still borrow off of it. Okay, so and what he's saying is we have Chris and Van who are working on that project through Project High Pool. So that's the important part of, thank you, Joe. But I think it's also important that in this space that there's a lot of new faces and new ears that just understanding like this shit's not rocket science. It sounds like it is, and it sounds like a totally different language. And if you don't get it, you're like, man, forget that, you're gone. And I don't want that to happen to anybody here. So for me, I just want to try to make people understand like staking is basically what you would do at a bank, but we're not working with no banks anymore. Right. And then with the U.S. stablecoin, or with the stablecoin, what they're saying, you can draw interest on it. What kind of interest when you get on the bank? 0.01% on $100? That's crazy. With USDC, it's probably 10 times that much, or cryptocurrency. That's why it's better to stake or deposit your cryptocurrency in a DeFi platform where you can get a better interest. Stop letting the bank play with your money. That's it.
Monopoly, basically.
Yeah.
So, any other questions about stablecoins or statements?
Thank you. Just a quick question. So with the fiat money, the government can print more money, but with the stablecoin, where does the money actually come from? Does it involve some sort of algorithm, some computing power that mines the coins, and how does that work?
You want to? Yeah, you
I
want
would say you convert from a fiat, trade from a fiat.
Yeah, but except that, can you mine the stablecoins?
So, mine stablecoins, but what I was saying is that like companies like Circle will issue them because they have a certain amount of like treasury notes in a custodian, right? So they having that in a custodian and with regulation allows them to issue an asset against what they have locked up in custody.
So they actually have reserves versus the U.S. dollar who doesn't have a reserve.
Yeah.
Since Richard Nixon eliminated the gold standard. So any of these companies like Circle, Tether, the U.S. is constantly paying attention to what Circle, Tether, these other companies that want to issue stablecoin, which one of these companies are going to be in the space, because you want to make sure that they have reserves to back it up.
Yeah. So inherently, we kind of took in the thing that doesn't have any backup and made a backup out of it.
And then the one that he mentioned that was backed by algorithm is the one that failed.
Yeah. So let's keep going down. We talked about stable coins a lot, right? But Bitcoin is another channel, right? There's a lot of cryptos, but people probably wonder why Bitcoin, right? Can anybody share why they think Bitcoin is so important, aside from why I have it up here?
To me, it's based on the technology that's built on. Yeah, the blockchain technology. It allows you to be anonymous. It allows you to send money anywhere you want to any type of wallets. And most of all, it's finite. It's not infinite. There's only 21 million coins. They can print US dollars all day. There's only 21 million coins. So to me, those are the top reasons why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. It's a technology. I wasn't born in America, so this allows me to send money anywhere I want without borders, and you can build off of it. Like anybody can build a project off of this. You don't need a bank you don't need backers. You just build it and then set a community up. And as you guys grow in this space, you'll see the endless possibilities that this allows you to do. So that's why I like it.
And I like what you said. There's a couple points you mentioned, right? The guy that was just there asking about, can you print more USDC? Technically, you can, as long as you have the back end to collateral, right? But with Bitcoin, you can't, right? So, and that's by design, right? And different coins have the need to be printed more, right? But as long as there's back end, then it's fair. But with Bitcoin, if you're looking at what happened and it birthed out of the 2008 financial crisis and the inflation of the dollar that has been happening way before that, but has increasingly keep on happening since the what did you say? Yeah, they keep printing money, right? And we're literally probably on the track to start printing some money this year, right? Because the big beautiful bill that just passed, right, is going to increase our government spending more. So we need more capital to basically make that come true, right? So basically, the fact that Bitcoin provides that cap allows for you to work and against inflation of your assets, right? And then, so I that you kind of mentioned that Bitcoin is limited. Bitcoin works when the banks are shut down, right? We saw what happened when Russia went to war with Ukraine, and Russia was immediately taken off the SWIFT system, right? They were still able to get money in and out of Russia because of crypto, right? So the SWIFT network is the world currency network, but countries like the United States have the power to basically take countries off of the SWIFT network, right? So that's important because as you see entities like the BRICS now looking elsewhere to do business with one another because the SWIFT network cannot be trusted if there's a central entity that can just be like, you're out of here.
One thing that's important for me in regards to Bitcoin is we just celebrated it a couple weeks ago on Bitcoin Pizza Day. There was a guy some years ago who bought 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin. And that 10,000 Bitcoin at the time, I think, was $40. And if he had that Bitcoin to this day, he would have $1.1 billion. Basically, what I'm saying for me is it's the best producing financial tool of our time. And it's not changing anytime soon. That's why we're discussing it today during Juneteenth. That's why I have these books here about it, because I think it's important to understand this financial tool and how it's helping people. Owning Bitcoin is making your house less expensive, making your car less expensive, okay? Because what I'm saying is the value of your Bitcoin is going up. It's allowing you to buy more things, okay? And it's not changing because of there's only so many Bitcoin in the world. And Bitcoin is mined. And I said it earlier, is that we should educate and onboard ourselves into Bitcoin as soon as possible, because there's large corporations out there, there's individuals out there that we do and we don't like. All right, we're not gonna get in here and mention any names or slander and stuff like that. But what I'm just saying is there's some big dogs out there that are trying to get all the Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin about a year or so ago was at 15,000 per Bitcoin. Right now it's about 100,000 some per Bitcoin. And there's a lot of people believe that by the year of 2030, it could be $1 million per Bitcoin. And people are laughing at that. And people are saying, people who aren't laughing say, that's a 90% discount. I'm going to go ahead and buy some of this. All right, let me say that again. Buying Bitcoin at 100,000 right now, a lot of people believe that's a 90% discount. Because they're going to hold on to it for 5 to 10 years anyways. All right. So for me, that's why it's important, because of the financial tool and how it's produced over the last 15 years. We've seen nothing like it, and it's not changing anytime soon. You're hearing it in the news. To be honest with you, this country is behind. There are other continents on it, and the kids of those continents are using their phones, and they are being productive, and they're killing it. So it's time to it's time to catch up. Like, everybody thinks the rest of the world is behind. Yeah, right. They're moving and shaking already on this.
And I'll say this as we move forward from this slide. The reason why they're ahead is because they needed solutions, right? And that's the same correlation that we should take from this. Our community needs solutions, right? And the solutions that they utilized were these freedom solutions that did not require government intervention. How can in Africa, what you're highlighting is Africa has been leading the way in mobile to mobile payments, because way back before they were trading, basically, like, we had cell phone minutes, right? They were trading those as tokens, right? And they were trading minutes for being able to for people to do things for minutes. So the very early form of their bartering in the terms of like crypto, you could equate it to crypto. They were trading minutes in Africa. So that is a way that people have been creative with technology, and we're now just seeing it being solidified in here in the United States, to your point. But I want to keep going. So we talked about stablecoins, we talked about Bitcoin. I want to talk about some things that you guys can do. Get these wallets, right? Look into incorporating some of these tools into your businesses, right? Coinbase Commerce. We'll talk about how you can actually set it up. Stripe just announced that they're enabling crypto payments. No, Stripe is something else. But Stripe just announced that they're enabling crypto payments. And then dollar cost average, right? Think about this as a savings account. Get yourself some crypto that you literally are just sitting on and saving for the future. You want to say something?
And it's important that you try to earn crypto versus buying crypto. All right. Earn crypto versus buying crypto. And when Joe mentioned, and Tehran is here, the crypto crew, he's been saying it for the last several weeks. I do now accept crypto for my shirts, the phone cases that I've designed. And most businesses who accept crypto payments for their business generate more revenue than those who don't. All right. So just make sure that, you have to go on and maybe on ramp and go buy some Bitcoin or do something. It's an investment just like any other things, but try to earn it before you go buy it. And then if you do have a business, make sure you set your business up where it accepts crypto and then make your business look good too. All right.
But you touched on something I want to elaborate. The donations piece, right? And you may have a story that you might want to share with everybody, but I'll share a story first. Is that you don't have to look any further than Donald Trump to see how he was able to turn on the light and got crypto donations, and how much money he was able to raise just because he did that, right? And then T Gold and I were at the bookstore gallery yesterday, and we're educating someone who's running for
City council,
right? And how he could basically be able to put a button on his website that allows him to accept crypto donations, right? And that would come in the form of USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want, but even meme coins. Like we were telling him, people have these meme coins that they're sitting on. They don't want to know what to do with it, but they want to. Can I donate it to somebody for the campaign? Right? These are different things that can be enabled. Do you want to talk about your story before I go into this?
Yeah, real quick in regards to crypto donations, I know he's mentioned the president of the country had used crypto donations to help further his campaign along. But for me, I used it in a nonprofit manner, helping nonprofit organizations where there's an organization called the Giving Block, and there's other organizations out there where a nonprofit can partner with them, where they can go to them and say, hey, we want to accept crypto donations. When Bitcoin rises and people start profiting, they're looking to donate some of that crypto. They're looking to transfer, and it's taxed differently than any other donation. Crypto donations are taxed differently than other donations. So it's a better tax advantage, okay? And the thing is, you can receive, like Joe mentioned, you can receive just about up to 100 different cryptocurrencies. And then you can either sit on them, but what you can do is just receive these cryptocurrencies and convert them to whatever denomination. It could be US dollars, pesos, wherever you're at in the world, and then go on and carry out the mission statement of your nonprofit organization. So in the average crypto donation, this was 2022, was $6,000. And I think Bitcoin had peaked shortly before that, 66,000, and that was the highest Bitcoin had ever been. So what was going on is people were taking those Bitcoin, the profits from the Bitcoin or what they had amassed, and they were pouring that into nonprofit causes that were benefiting. So yeah, I just think it was cool for me to I created a platform with care.org for the organization to receive crypto donations and then help people in different parts around the world. And there's a large organization, and I see so many other organizations not as big as them that are more impactful and can do so much more. So what I'm saying is, don't think that you have to be this large organization. You could be a one-man show, two-woman show, one-woman show, have a nonprofit, and just put that widget on your site to accept crypto, and you're off. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I can help you with it.
Who said help me? Oh, you say help me? Yeah. So I do want to talk about some more use cases. There's 5 more use cases here. I also have this AI podcast that you can listen to each use case to as well. So I can share that with you guys afterwards. But you can listen to the actual exploration of these use cases. I will walk through these, however, for the sake of time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start here. Bored and hungry. How many people have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club? Okay, good amount of people. So Bored Ape Yacht Club was an NFT collection first, right? However, out of that, the one thing that they promised their collectors was that you pretty much have the rights to utilize your NFT, right? So what a group of the holders did was take some of the earnings that they've been amassing from holding this NFT, and they basically crowdfunded a burger joint. They have this spot out in Cali. It's Bored and Hungry, and it takes the IP of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and you can get yourself a burger, and you get yourself. It's a new chain. You want to say something? I'm gonna say one more thing about it not about this, but who here has bought Shiba Inu coin? Okay, so they're also doing something similar. Shiba Wings. They have one location in Australia and another location in Dubai. And they're opening up this, and people can come into Shiba Wings and they can pay with Shiba Inu coin, right? And these are the innovative solutions that communities like Bored Ape Yacht Club or Shiba Inu, they identify people within their holder community and say, hey guys, we got these groups of people, we got these ideas, and we have the liquidity because we're creating money together. Let's crowdfund a new restaurant. Let's crowdfund a new clothing brand.
Yeah, and the way they're able to do that is Bored and Hungry, like Joe mentioned, that comes from Bored Ape Yacht Club. But Bored Ape Yacht Club is not inexpensive or a cheap asset. I mean, a lot of people.
Expensive asset.
So, I mean, it is. It's not a cheap. What I'm saying is a lot of people bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT when it first came out for a couple $100s. And that NFT for some people went up to hundreds of $1,000s, a few people in the 7 figures. So when they come together as a community, it's like, oh, you're an ape, you're an ape, you're an ape. They've all benefited in the community, and they can put their money together, and they can create a restaurant and generate, or they can go create some type of mission based off of that IP and generate more interest and help people along the way. So that's that NFT, that's that IP, that's their collectible, that's what ties them together. And in their case, it's an expensive one. It's one that has some utility, but I see them when I go to different blockchain conferences around the country. They're there, and they show up, and they always have some pretty cool stuff to do. So that's just another example that I just want to build on.
I just had a question. I want to know, this is crowdfunding and it's not a DAO? They're not creating a DAO through this?
So they in essence, they kind of have a DAO because they also have their own blockchain. So they may operate as a DAO, but they also are operating as a legit, like the company that owns the IP is operating as Yuga Labs, is operating as a company. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they that it's a DAO nonprofit. They are for profit.
DAO can operate that way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a DAO here.
Explain to people what the DAO is.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What's a DAO? Yeah, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, and for me, I'm just going to give you guys my opinion on DAOs. DAOs are best centralized, right? They start best centralized because you identify people who are going to step up within the bigger organization, right? And actually want to do things. Somebody I was talking to last week, he actually gave me a good analogy, better than my analogy. If you look at the NAACP, right? Or you look at any other organization, not everybody does something, right? Not everybody does something, but there is a central board organization. The reason why I like DAOs though, from a technology standpoint, because when done right, you'll see everything on chain transparently. But I don't like to get caught up in this whole thing of it's a DAO, because that, like, people don't pull their weight because it's a DAO. Like, you still gotta identify the key players, right? So that's just my opinion though. Does anybody else want to say anything about DAOs? You agree? Okay. So coming on, keep on going through the examples here. This coffee shop is in DC, Compass Coffee. In fact, you may have seen Marlon, our founder here. He has this picture. He's actually holding this coffee mug, this coffee from this space here, Wake Up Coffee. So this was one of the first places that was enabled for be able to buy coffee with USDC. So if you go to DC and you go to Compass Coffee, you can buy coffee with USDC. But this place is in Atlanta that's actually making that happen too. What's it called?
Prevail Coffee.
Prevail Coffee here in Atlanta.
Stay tuned.
You can go there and buy. Yeah.
Podcast.
Oh, he's not here. But yeah, no, he's not here.
Prevail Coffee, next month we're going to do a couple coffee and crypto podcasts from their locations in West Midtown and Druid Hills. We'll make an announcement.
I'm gonna save this Saturday for last because that's my favorite example. Bellator Skincare. So Bellator Skincare is like an international skincare company. So they've been able to use Bitcoin as an asset to let people purchase their skincare products, right? But that also has allowed them to be more international. Fly Fish Club, interestingly, was started by Gary Vee and some partners, and they all had the interest in fish. Like if they wanted to open a fish restaurant, right? So they sold an NFT, right? And each NFT had fish on it, different artwork. But the purchases of that NFT led to the raise of $10.3 million that they were then able to utilize to open the restaurant in New York. So they just started operating the restaurant in 2023 or 2024, right after raising that money in like 22, 21. So that just goes to show you that now those people who were a part of that initial raise, they were also members that can, in New York, you can imagine, there's a lot of like member Soho House type stuff where you got to show identity. That NFT becomes your identity. After they raised, they did enable a fiat model, which is live right now, so you can pay $800 and get your basic membership to the Flying Fish Club, right? But they're utilizing the NFT and the fiat options to enable their membership. So that's creative to me. I love these type of examples. So this one, Saturday, I like this one again. It's my favorite one because it's something, to your point, that anybody here with a clothing brand or any brand can do. It's an NFT collection with ducks and they're drawn with different art. However, the brand Saturdays, a streetwear brand in New York, in Brooklyn, right? The founders are probably my age. Two founders, I'm 38, so that gives you some context. And they wanted to lean into the space and be creative with how they did their membership program, right? So this is a membership program, and basically the members of the loyalty club had to purchase one of the ducks. These aren't as expensive as these. Yeah. This is 4. These are 4 different NFTs right here. There's more than 4, but I just put 4 here. Right? These NFTs are running for like a floor of $100,000. These are running for like $85, right? But if you sell 1,000 images, right? $85. That's $85,000 that you can basically jumpstart your loyalty program with, right? And I made 1,000 in my head in terms of like issuing 1,000, but if you start with 333 tokens, right, or some number that you feel that you can sell inside your company, there goes now the I'm not going to get too much into the weeds because I don't want anybody to potentially run into SEC regulation and all that. But the key is don't promise that people are going to make any money off of this, and make sure that you treat these type of things as loyalty programs. So you have discounts and things that people are able to take advantage of because they hold these assets.
And I'll say a lot of you all remember Nipsey Hussle, and you're damn right I'm going to mention him on Juneteenth, man. That guy was super motivational, inspirational. He told a lot of us about Bitcoin a long time ago, and we can go back and we can look at the receipts. And one thing that he did is when he put out one of his albums, he was trying to raise some money, and I think he put out like 1,000 CDs for $100, and that's how he was able to raise money for his project. But he didn't do that on blockchain. I'm sure he would have gotten to it, but that's just an example of what Joe was saying here, how you can fund your business with the use of NFTs.
Also, platforms you can get familiarized with is like OpenSea.
OpenSea, yes, OpenSea.
You can go on there, identify different NFTs and different projects as well. That's a great platform to exercise to kind of educate yourself too.
Yeah, if anybody wants to actually look at any of these NFTs, this one, I can show you afterwards. They're all on OpenSea. Zora is active, but Zora is not really like NFTs in the same concept here. It's more like social media, whereas this is like assets that you can kind of that you can like membership assets as opposed to like pictures that you post on Instagram. So that's pretty much it. Right now we're gonna pivot to 2 exercises. So what you guys been waiting for, right?
All right, so let's just go through it one more time. We are giving away $250 in Bitcoin tonight. You want to go back to the screen?
No,
you're
gonna explain. I want
$250 in Bitcoin tonight. Give away the Bitcoin tonight, huh? All right. We're not giving away. The mic don't work. All right, 2 $100 Bitcoin, 1 $50 Bitcoin. All right, and then what we're also gonna do is we're gonna give away up to 10 books. And those books, I went over them earlier, is the Bitcoin Super Cycle, it's the Flight to Purpose, and it's the Guardians of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Yes, and we already got one winner tonight. But not only are we just doing this trivia, we're giving away Bitcoin, and Jordan from blockchain.io is also giving away blockchain tokens, and we're giving away books. So yeah, we're having an activity here, but also just I appreciate everybody's involvement tonight and asking questions and participating. And throughout the night, as people are asking questions, participating, engaging with others, we're going to be looking at like, hey, what book do you want? And thanks for everybody coming out tonight. Before you leave, please follow us on social media. One thing that I'm noticing about our social media posts is we're not commenting enough. And this goes from our own immediate Atlanta Blockchain Center community where I got the microphone. Don't just hit the heart sign. Go in there and say something, especially a hashtag or an @ okay? That's how we're going to get to 10 and 5. We're in one of the top 10 blockchain centers in the world within 5 years, and we're 3 years into it. We got 2 more years, and I feel damn good about this year. And just that little algorithm of a hashtag and a tag in our comments, that makes a big difference on our Instagram, our X channel, and our LinkedIn channel. All right, let's get this Bitcoin. Let's give away these prizes.
I'm gonna move out the way in a second, but the QR code behind me is the one you want to start with. That's the quiz. That's the one for the Bitcoin.
Mama, come up here real quick.
So the first 3 people, I'm gonna move out the way, but the first 3 people to win, you gotta bring me your quiz results, and I gotta see that you have, like, I want to see that the top 3 high scores, because I'm gonna give the highest, the basically the 100, 100, and the 50 to the highest people and the people who are first. So let me get out of the way. And the second QR code we'll do after I get the winners for the first QR code. Let's turn on some music. What's some good Juneteenth music?
Oh, man.
We gonna be all right.
Victory lap.
Yeah, LA.
Victory lap. Got victory lap for me.
You like? Okay. You done already? You submit it? You gotta submit it and see what your score is. Okay, 100. You got one person who got 100. All right, cool. All right, so stay up here.
All right.
Okay, another 100. Okay, we got.
Yes. I wanted a man and a woman to win tonight. That's what's up.
Wait, I'm done also. Do we get another?
Bro, I think we got 100. That's it. I didn't get enough time to put the music on.
Alright. So who was the first and second? So 1, 2? Okay.
All right, so. We still got more prizes. To give away. No, yes. Unfortunately, for the Bitcoin, you're late. But so I want you guys to scan. This one's gonna make people get up. This one's gonna make you get up out your seat and do an activity, right? So scan this second QR code, right? And it's gonna take you to my app, Skylark, right? And I want everybody to basically, if you have an account, if you don't have an account, sign up and create an account.
All right, so real quick, y'all didn't hear Joe said he said Skylark. So Joe is also a producer and a builder. He's just not up here doing a panel. Joe is an intelligent builder in this space. His organization, his company is called Skylark, where it helps businesses with loyalty and rewards. So like when you go to Starbucks and they keep you captured, like they don't really give you nothing back. Joe's program is built on a blockchain where you'll go to a Starbucks, you can get rewards, you'll be a part of the community, but you'll get something from it instead of them holding you hostage.
Exactly. Thank you, Ant. So for those of you who have scanned the QR code, I want you to go through the quest activations, right? And you can go ahead and get started. Open that, answer the question there, right? So there's one question and one poll, but then the 3 activities that I want you to do after that is, so go ahead and put the answer in. The 3 activities that I want you guys to do after that is find 3 things in this room here that you can basically turn into a Web3 business, right? So how could you basically sell anything in this room in a Web3 manner, right? It could be a picture of, one example, you could take a picture of a phone, right? So I'm actually gonna put this up on the screen and go through it with you guys as well. Yeah. So now go ahead and hit that. So then go ahead and open that and answer this question. Yeah. Log in. You want to have to log in. Log in. Sorry. Go ahead and log in. So I'm having it up here on the screen. And when you guys, the first, again, we're giving away 10 books. We're doing 10 books, right? Or, well, so we're giving away one grand prize, which is a membership to Blockchain. So the first person who comes up and finishes all 5 of these wins the membership, but then the 9 people after that will get a book of your choice. So I'm just having it up here on the screen. You guys should have gotten to the first page like this after you log in, right? And then after you log in, you can tap the arrow key, and then you can answer this first question here by hitting the drop down, answering the question, and then keep on going through the next items afterwards. There's a poll that you need to answer. And then when you get to these ones, I actually want you guys to go and, like I said, find something that you can turn into a Web3 business. Take a picture, and yeah, exactly what he's doing right here. But you can't take 3 pictures of the same thing. Okay, cool. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Sorry, my bad. Oh. Here, the QR code's on my computer. I'll just put it on my computer up. I'll play some music.
Push in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killer. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it goes, nigga. Front line every time it's on, nigga. 100 come close. 100 shoot close. 58 drops. Playing bulletproof soul. Every few shows that spot some new goals. Something got smaller, everybody can't go. Downtown Diamond District, tourists like yo. Bustle, holla at me, I got Cubans on the road. Food can't
and to understand it the best way possible so we can be in position to receive it. Because if we are in that position, there's so much more we can do together. Because if you look at the Greenwood District, again, blockchain started from Black Wall Street initially. We were just a token, all right? And we have a really big initiative just to give back. So 10% of profits across everything that we do goes back to communities, period. And it's really where the Lord says, but it goes back, right? And so our whole thing is to give back. So even initially, the job was to give 10% of everything right back to communities of color and underserved communities everywhere. And I realized that, we had to build utility, which put me on a path of building a learn to earn platform. Because I had somebody with a 6-figure check in front of me, but they're like, Jordan, I love your idea. It's amazing. But what's the utility behind your token? Because it was pretty much just a mean to bring people together. I mean, that's what O.W. Gurley did, so I thought that's all we had to do. But we see that there needs to be more value added, but we can still do it in a special way via blockchain and cryptocurrency. So that is the story behind blockchain. There's also what Be Free won today. And we actually will be having our pre-sale come up very, very soon. So at live, your tokens, our pre-sale, there'll be about 10 cents. Mind you, you get 5,000 tokens. So you'll immediately have $1,000 of blockchain tokens. You can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can transact with it, whatever you would like to do. So that is the seed that we wanted to sow today. So that's blockchain. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and to what Ann said earlier, I know we still gonna do some things with Black Art, right? Because we met again at the Web3 Expo 2023 before I fully transitioned to Atlanta, and it was just phenomenal, right? So shout out to Ant and all that he does. He kind of really pulled this together. So God bless Ant for all that he does, and just the whole ABC family. So this is dope.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I mean, like I told earlier, I bought blackchain.art and blackchain.gallery, and I wanted blackchain.io. Together. So that's the type of stuff. I'll say it again. We're doing the right thing with the right people at the right time in the right place. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And I think especially if you got a newcomer to the space, again, just think about positioning yourselves to receive because it's going to happen, right? Whether you provide a service, even if you come here just to learn and then teach people later, you can charge to teach. Okay, that is something that it will happen. So if you position yourself the right way, it's just going to happen. It's inevitable, right? We see the Genius Act. I'm pretty sure we talked about it already, but. Listen, guys, it's all right there for you. I would say take hold and be prepared. So that's it. God bless you. Good night.
Turn on the music, man. After hours.
Unless you gotta go home, but I brought my mom with me so I can go home. I'm making myself go home. Hey, mom, so you gotta go home. You got all that. You got anything to do?
I didn't go to Freeport. I went to Coltrane and Hicksville. But my parents live right there in Pennsylvania.
I came out here to end the 96. I came out here. I was thinking, I caught the tail end of the I caught the tunnel too, though. They go Walmart, they fly out, and then went to the artist down here. And that's why I studied graphic design. So I didn't even know my mics were doing that. So now, during that whole session, some of that fire before the audio. I ain't come back. I know when I was up there, so when I came back.
They posted on your website?
Yeah, it was on IG.
Oh, you just like going live?
I don't like third party. Then they want to so I say about that. All a lot before it's just I was praying about that. The self that's now is becoming as a town is not a thing. You start with a restaurant, and I didn't know the you gotta protect it. So what you do is you that's why I'm taking some time. I gotta take my time. Make sure that the assets. So that's why instead of just dominating, it's like